Hello, fine gentlemen. Welcome to the When in Doubt podcast. We're distinguished gentlemen, and I hope you have a good day today. Welcome to episode 18.
Whoa!
Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 18 of the When in Doubt podcast. As you can tell, things are a little bit different today. It's just me and Noah here in person, but we got Gavin. Gavin, say hi.
Hi, guys.
Good job, Gavin.
Good job, Gavin. We're proud of you. We got Gavin on the call today. We also, as you can tell, are a little different in the setup. Hopefully, this makes the audio better, but it also is just kind of I really like the vibe, honestly. Initially, when we were like...
Gives the distinguished gentleman
Yeah,
vibes.
it totally does. That's kind of... Noah's like, dude, I feel like I'm like English right now. I'm like...
Let us know what you think about these intros, because we are brainstorming for hours upon hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
we definitely didn't come up with that 3 seconds before we started.
Whatever.
No, but I like the new vibe, honestly. By the way, by new, I mean this will leave after this episode.
Unless there's another episode with two people. But
I was going to say, honestly, the only reason this is the vibe right now is because we only have 2 people like in person today, just me and Noah. Matthew is out for schoolwork. Jack is also out for schoolwork. Liam can't call in today. He's got family in town. And then us 3 are here. So that's going to be the podcast.
What did you guys do for the intro?
Bro,
I can't see.
yeah, Gavin, you'll see on the podcast. Don't worry about it.
Oh my god.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But I hope you guys like the sweet logo we got in the background right now. And today, we got some exciting topics on the board.
Yeah.
Obviously, the first thing we got to hit off, consider it. March just ended. March Madness just ended.
Yep.
The NCAA
Yes.
tournament just ended.
Yay, March Madness.
Yeah. Yay, March Madness.
Yay, March Madness.
So we're going to be talking about that whole tournament, some of the biggest upsets, our opinions on how the tournament went, and basically everything there is to know about March Madness. And then after that, we got like a little NBA game. We're going to transition to the NBA. This is a very basketball-heavy episode, as we're going to be talking about, NBA playoffs heading into, or NBA standings heading into the playoffs. And also I got a little question game for the other 2 boys. So it's going to be pretty hype. Do you want to pull up the bracket?
You want to just start with March Madness?
Yeah, we'll just start with March Madness. So what's sweet with this nice setup, which hopefully if we don't have technical difficulties...
There's no technical difficulties.
If we don't have technical
There's some
difficulties...
technical difficulties.
we should be able to put the
Hey,
bracket up here.
there we go.
Look at, this is pretty cool. Although this won't happen a lot, I will admit this is pretty cool. So we got the bracket up behind us if you're watching this on the video podcast on YouTube. I actually highly recommend if you are listening on Spotify, obviously, huge shout out to our Spotify listeners because I actually looked at Spotify the other day after not looking for a while, and wow, we got a lot of listeners on Spotify now. So thank you to all the people listening on Spotify. But if there's any episode...
Follow Spotify, and
Yeah.
I'll leave a link to our YouTube password for you to mess with our account.
Definitely. major wink wink. But with this new vibe today, we can kind of put up the thing here.
Yeah.
And
so much fun.
So if you are watching on Spotify, this might be the day where you want to go to YouTube and watch it because we got some cool scenery going on. It's a little change of pace. It's
beautiful.
But at the top of the bracket...
I'm online.
Yeah, the one time Gavin's online. we well,
Gavin, we did this because you were online.
Oh, shoot.
oh shoot. So Gavin, right now we are looking at the top. If you want to pull it up on your
Yeah,
end,
we can just kind of go through them. So, first game, UConn, Stetson, skip it. Great game. Next game, FAU and Northwestern. FAU was the 9 seed last year. They made it to the Final Four and only lost in the Final Four because of a buzzer beater from San Diego State.
Yes. I do want to mention one thing. If you want a quick recap of March Madness and you don't really care, let me give you a quick recap. UConn absolutely crapped on everybody. All right, you could skip ahead to the NBA. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That is what the tournament felt like.
Basically, did this game go into overtime? Do you remember? I don't think it did.
No, it
Nope.
didn't. No, it didn't.
All right, so, I feel like the first notable game here is the Auburn versus Yale game.
Yeah.
This game was really, really fun to watch, and the fact that, Auburn, I don't know if, did you watch this game?
I did not watch all this game. I watched
Auburn,
the start of it.
At the end of this game, they maybe missed a total of, 10 shots in the last minute, 2 minutes, including 3-pointers, 2-pointers, layups, free throws. They should not have lost this game. Honestly, to be real, I think it's awesome that Yale won. Tigers should have easily, if they had made all those baskets, they would have won by 10, maybe more. And it just goes to show how fun March is, because then you have a team that absolutely chokes in the first round, and then a team like Yale moves on to the next round.
That is absolutely
so
crazy.
that was the first good game, I think, in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, continue on with this.
Yeah,
I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of like skip ahead to the like big games in the first round, because obviously if we sat here and talked through every game, this podcast would literally be 3 hours long.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna hit on a few. And Gavin, obviously, if there's any games you watch that you want to chip in on, I know, Gavin, how much of March Madness did you watch? Be honest here.
I think I watched 1, 2, 3, 0 games.
What did you say? 1,
Of the
2, 3?
63 games, you watched 2?
I mean, I know I watched a couple.
All right, that's fair.
All right, that's fair.
So this was the first. This is another upset that happened. I actually picked the Dukes to win in our bracket, which we can show the standings of. I didn't win. Gavin won.
I was looking so good until stupid Arizona lost.
Yeah.
I was in the lead.
I
the
had
entire
one of my
time.
best brackets ever. I actually got 3 of the 4 teams right in a bracket. I had Purdue, UConn, and Alabama.
That's awesome.
And I had Houston winning it all, and they were my other Final Four team.
That's
So
tough. That's
That
tough.
was
How many
unfortunate,
brackets
but
did you make?
Yeah.
2 main ones. Last year I had 25.
83.3%, right?
Those percentages aren't right.
Percentile,
Just a
whatever.
heads up, because the winner, it says they have 100%, and I obviously don't. So
It's
ESPN
like-
is just weird.
It's
I did
83%.
better than you, though.
Bro, I know.
bro, I know. No, how it works is ESPN calculates as if the top bracket, like the guy who got first in the world, is 100%, and then everybody else is relative to that 100%.
All right, that makes sense.
So that's how
I
it is.
don't even remember this game. I just remember seeing the Dukes win, and I'm like, heck yeah, I picked them. All right. Illinois, Morehead State. It didn't end up close, but Morehead State was actually winning going into the second half, I think.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say
And
this
they
was
it looked like it was gonna be close, and then Illinois went on like a 26-2 run or something ridiculous like that.
I was actually gonna say
And-
I watched part of this game at the start when it was tight, and I remember I was like sweating because I picked Illinois. I think into my, I want to say Elite Eight. I think Elite Eight.
Same.
Yeah, I think Illinois is in my Elite Eight, and I was like sweating. I'm like, bro, no way. They're coming off. Didn't they win the Big Ten or the Big Ten tournament?
Yep, they beat the
Yeah, they
Badgers.
beat the Badgers in the championship of the Big Ten tournament. Darn it. Yeah,
Slap the
which
mic.
yeah, Badgers are absolute chokers. We'll get there, but
No kidding.
but I picked Illinois, and I was like, they're gonna make it far. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next game, Washington State beat Drake. I don't remember that. Iowa
Are we
State
going
beat.
through every single game?
Yes, deal with it. Cry about it.
Not every single game. I
Yeah,
mean, just
not,
the,
I mean, we can skip a
I
couple
think
of
we
them.
could skip a few and just start at the
Yeah.
championship. You
I mean,
first.
okay, so
no way, buddy. Just said we can skip a few and start from the championship, buddy.
okay, we can go a little quicker. I mean, we can just go quick. Upset alert.
GCU. Wait, GCU.
GCU.
Shout out to GCU.
Yes, sir.
Big GCU fan here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. So big GCU
First
fan.
win ever, I'm pretty sure for.
Yeah, they were. It was their first win
That's
ever.
awesome.
And
Congrats
also, they really had a chance against Alabama. I mean, this is skipping the next round, but I watched like all of that almost, and it was tight until like the last quarter, and the Crimson Tide was able
the
to.
last quarter. There's 2.
Or the last, you know what I mean. It was because I was watching women's college basketball, watching Caitlin Clark dominate until the
fair.
championship.
That's
So
fair.
that was in my head, but they were close until like the last probably 10-ish minutes. So.
Yeah. This Alabama Charleston game was interesting because Charleston is a 13 and they scored 96 points and still lost by 13. That is absurd,
That is
honestly.
absurd, especially for obviously
So
for
unlucky for
college basketball.
Yeah. Clemson beating New Mexico State. They were actually one of the very, very few like higher seeded teams to be not favored. New Mexico State was highly favored going into this game. And look how that turned out.
I
Let's
was
just
gonna
kinda
actually
follow
say-
Clemson through here.
Yeah, I actually was gonna say about that matchup. I saw so many like Instagram reels about like, oh, New Mexico State is the team to pick. Like if you want like a good upset team that has a chance to
Yeah.
make like a deep run, like if Elite
Mexico
Eight,
State
Final
was one
Four.
of those teams.
There was like everybody's like picking New Mexico State. Like I literally saw some of the top like celebrities pick brackets where New Mexico State won the entire thing, and then they lost in the first round.
Yeah.
So that was kind of surprising.
Yeah. Baylor beat Colgate, embarrassingly. This Dayton, Nevada game. Okay, Arizona beat Long Beach. Nobody cares. This Dayton, Nevada game is something I want to talk about because this game, ESPN ranked for Nevada the worst loss in the entire tournament.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And the reason why is that the Nevada was up 17, I think, with 6 minutes left.
17 with
And
6
look-
minutes left.
Look what happened, and they still lost.
Dude, they could have put me, you, and Gavin out there, and we would have won that.
Yeah,
It's
it
upset.
is crazy. That's why you play to the last second in these games. But yeah,
That's
Nevada
ridiculous.
was down. I don't know the exact numbers, but it
Yeah.
was over 15 with like 6 minutes left to play, and they lost by 3.
Wow.
Which is just crazy.
Madness.
That's actually the game that broke my perfect bracket. I got the first 8 games right, including like Duquesne and all that.
Yeah.
So that was the one that broke it, and I still should have had it. All right, so now we go to the other side. Houston, say your word.
Absolutely dominated. Yeah.
Yep, Texas A&M takes the win, and we've arrived at Wisconsin.
Oh my gosh, I can't handle this. Oh my gosh, the Badgers are
Okay,
such
on behalf of Wisconsin Badgers fans everywhere, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we want to.
This game was
Embarrassing.
Awful to watch. It would have been different if, even if they lost and it was close.
Yeah.
Or like a buzzer beater or anything. There was not a single statistic in this entire game where you thought, hey, the Badgers are going to win. I mean, I think James Madison scored first. They went up like 12-4, and that's it.
I will admit there is one major point. I think it was late, I want to say in the third quarter.
Like, look at 14 steals, 19
ridiculous.
turnovers.
So the Badgers had a semi-decent run to bring it back, and I think we were within, I want to say 6 points.
We were within 6.
So we were within 6
Yes.
points, and we had one of our guys, I don't even remember who it was, Badger drive down the court and had not a free layup, but a layup he should have made. It was a layup.
If it's a layup, you should be making it.
Yes, and it was a layup that he should have made. He missed the
it.
layup. It rimmed out. The Dukes got the ball, drove down the court, splash 3. At that exact instant, I walked upstairs because I knew
it's a
the
5-point swing from being
Yeah.
down 4 and the momentum's on your side to missing the basket, and now you're down 9.
Yeah.
Like, that was it.
It was
that basket that sealed the deal
for
the
sure.
Dukes.
It went from we had a chance to be down by 4 with the momentum heading into the second really half of the second half of play, and instead we were down by 9. And that was the end.
This James Madison was a really good team. Obviously, they got blown up by Duke in the next round.
Yeah,
but then again, Duke is a really good team.
Yeah.
So the Badgers should not have even won this game at all.
The only realistic thing that I will say that kind of made me feel a little bit better is the fact that realistically, after I watched Duke play the whole tournament, I knew even if we would have won that, we would have gotten smacked by Duke. So it didn't even matter.
No.
It didn't matter.
All right, next Duke won. No kidding.
Yep.
And now we got NC State. This was a fun one.
This is the team to talk about.
This was definitely the team to talk about. We can
Gavin,
get more into it.
Gavin, do you even know what happened to NC State? Like, if I said NC State, do you even know what happened?
They had a huge upset, didn't they?
Yeah, but besides having a huge upset,
huge upset.
Yeah. do you know even what round they made it to?
Yeah, like Final Four, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
okay.
good job.
Maybe you actually know.
This is the fun little group here because we have NC State winning, and then Oakland.
Yeah.
Jack Gorky.
He's from.
Gorky.
Did you know he played basketball at Milwaukee High School?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, which is
crazy.
crazy.
That's a good game by Oakland. It's just crazy that Kentucky is awful in the playoffs.
Yeah, Kentucky.
They're like, I think, 1-4 in the past 4 years.
Yeah,
Kentucky's
awful.
game was kind of rough for them. I mean,
it's so
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, Jack Golke made 10 3-pointers. I think it tied a record for most in a March Madness game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just absurd.
Gavin, what were you saying about this game, Kentucky?
Yeah, like obviously Kentucky was expected to win by a lot, like 3 against the 14 seed. But I don't think the entire game that they led by more than 2 points.
Yeah.
No, it was a super close game the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, Kentucky never got a huge lead, and then they were really close at the end, but then Oakland was able to take the dub.
Yeah. That was I watched most of that entire game, and the entire time I was like, dude, Oakland will not go away. What I feel like I noticed between a lot of the top seeds and lower seeds that it really separates a really good college team versus the college basketball team is that the good college teams stick around late in the second half. Or even in the second half, really, of play. What would happen is maybe the games would be close. It'd be first half. Maybe the higher seed will only be up by like 3 or 4 points, and then start of the second half, the top seeded team comes out with a little more like, all right, we need to put it down their throat. We might only be up by 4 right now. We need to step on the gas here. And then instantly you check 5 minutes later and they're up by like 15 points.
Yeah.
And I feel like that happened a lot this time. But Oakland was one of those teams it was really close at half. But instead of, Kentucky just running away with it after the half, Oakland just stuck by him the entire time and just hit a few shots at the end. Jack Golke came in clutch, and here we are. Oakland won.
That was a good one. This was another great finish. Colorado and Florida. If you
this
don't know,
game was
basically,
crazy.
yeah, the Gators tied it up. I think it was like 6 seconds left, and then Colorado drove down the court and hit like a wing shot 2-pointer with 1.2 seconds left and won the game 102. Like scoring 100 points and losing is wild.
I will admit I saw this actually on a podcast talking about like the NBA really, but I guess
podcast?
no, but also talking about college basketball. I just guess about talking about basketball in general. There are so many elite scorers nowadays, and there are not as many elite defenders. And also, if the elite defenders are there, the rules that basketball has in place right now make it harder for them to do their jobs. I just think over time scoring has got a lot easier in basketball in general at the college level, but especially at the NBA level, which we've obviously seen considering like a common NBA score seems to be like 140 to 130, like commonly.
It's really high
like there are
this year.
really high scoring games in the NBA consistently throughout this entire season. And I think that's because the NBA's talent is crazy, and obviously you can see that now kind of in the college area as well now. There's a lot of these teams that have incredible scores, and it's just hard to play defense when it's so much more. I feel like the refs are so much almost more favored towards offense because, I guess in the end, everybody's like, oh, we want to see offense, we want to see points. Yeah. But at the same time in basketball, it's, defenses win championships. That's what they say.
Yeah.
So.
Marquette.
I want to touch on Florida, Colorado a little bit more, like what Hayden was saying.
Yeah.
Because this was like the second highest scoring game in the March Madness bracket this year.
Yep.
So crazy high scoring, but like building off what Hayden was saying about how it's really not. It's about the defense is not catching up with the offense. Offense just keeps getting better. People keep scoring more. And if you look at the player stats for that game, nobody really went absolutely crazy. Like for Colorado, their highest scorer got them 23. For Florida, the highest scorer got them 33. Like pretty good games, but nobody went absolutely crazy. Like maybe the 33 was pretty good, yeah. But it just goes to show the points were pretty spread out among players. It just builds off that fact that yes.
I mean, something else to note here. I'm seeing. I didn't know this. Colorado had 4 bench points the entire game, and Florida had 22.
Yeah. Well, I think kind of that you're saying about like the bench player versus that. In the NBA.
Oh, sorry, I missed one. There's one down here.
Okay,
so they had 13, but not.
Still, not a lot of bench points in college. I think is becoming more common also because of the fact that colleges are almost realizing, all right, we have 3 to 5 elite scorers on our team. That's all we need. Like, okay, yes, I understand. Basketball games are really tiring. Like funny stories being, I was at senior retreat recently, and I was playing pickup basketball, and I hadn't played pickup basketball in so long, and bro, I was gassed. And I mean, I was working, and like it was like unlike just like a friendly game, it was like a competitive game of pickup basketball, and I was like, dude, holy crap, this is the hardest I've worked in a while. And like just imagine at a college level doing that, like that's crazy. But at the same time, when you have these elite scores, it's so hard to take them off the floor. Like no coach wants to take their elite scores off the floor. And if they're still putting up points, even if they're tired, you're not taking them off the floor. Yeah. So that's what's bringing in these big scoring games, I think. You're right.
Yeah. All right, so we got to Marquette and Western Kentucky. This game was close to halftime.
Marquette was down by
Marquette was losing to Western Kentucky
by like 12 or something crazy.
I don't know if it was that much, but yeah, they were definitely losing.
They were down by
good.
I think they were down by like double digits at one point. I for sure because I was watching.
Thankfully, that came back, so at least we had something. All right, final section of the bracket. Purdue and Utah State take a win. Gonzaga and Kansas. All right, this is the game that I want to touch on. Kansas and Samford. If you didn't watch this game, the final minute, seriously go back and watch it. It is amazing. Last minute was really good.
I watched this, yeah.
But basically the huge Transversal. Oh my gosh.
But he just said transversal.
Controversial call is the Jayhawks. I don't remember the score. I think the Jayhawks were up 2 or 3. And they got a fast break, and one of the Samford players actually got down and blocked the ball from behind. But the way that he blocked it he blocked only the ball. He only hit the ball. But the way that he did it, the Jayhawks player lost his balance and fell. And they called a foul. They get the 2 free throws, and that's game over.
Game over.
But you go back and look at the replay, it is the cleanest block. He hits the ball and nothing else.
Okay.
and it's just a huge controversial call. I think the refs actually got a penalty for this game.
You know what's coming back to? You know what this is coming back to? This is a shout out to our last episode because you want to know, or maybe this was our last episode. I don't even remember anymore. We have so many episodes. But one of the episodes, I talked about how I think, officiating in sports, it's a little crazy that you have an old dude running around the court calling a basketball game or calling a football game or whatever it is. Like I talked about this in a past episode, but like, is it not semi crazy? That like, okay, yes, I understand we have countless reviews up in like I saw comments when I posted a short of that people are like, he doesn't realize that every call is reviewed in New York. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get it. But
if every call is reviewed in New York, then why are they not changing this? Like almost every March Madness game, you see a replay and it's like, oh, they got that call wrong, and then they give it to the wrong team anyway. Like if it's getting reviewed, why are we not giving this to the right team? Like I get you have to keep these games moving, but if they're looking at the replays like they are in real time, and we can see it on the replay, hey, it's obviously off of his forehead. Yeah, let's give it to the other team.
Yeah. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
I think there's a lot of situations in which a more like digitalized reffing system in a lot of sports could benefit the sports just officiating in general. Like I do understand, how sports are. Some of them are really stingy with the way they officiate and stuff. But honestly, with how bad I've seen calls recently, not in just basketball, in lots of sports, I feel like recently, it makes you think, man, there's got to be a way to make this better. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you agree with us on that, Gavin? Or
yeah.
Okay. I thought he was gonna go.
You pretty much summed it up pretty well. Like, yeah, I agree. The refs in sports these days have just gotten out of hand.
Yeah, I for a second I thought you were gonna go on some like super powerful like tangent, and then you were just like, yeah. It was funny.
No, if I go on a tangent, it'll last too long, and I'll start talking about umpires and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's completely fair.
All right. Before I just want to skip the Oregon game. You got Creighton beating Orc. Oh my God! Can you go? I can't talk.
Yeah, it's all right. I like how we're casually skipping the Oregon game, even though that was
because I want to come back to it because it was an amazing game.
Oh, okay.
Well played to them. I actually picked Oregon to win this game. I got 2 of the 3 11 upsets right this year. This was easily my best bracket ever, and it was busted by Houston. It was really, really sad. All right. Anyway, we can go to the second round. We'll just start right here. Tennessee and Texas. I don't remember much about this game.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. I don't care, honestly, because I want to talk about this game.
Yeah.
The only double overtime game to happen in all of March Madness. Why does it not say double overtime? That's like dumb. Oh. Shout out March Madness app. Fix that. Yeah. This game was so much fun to watch.
It was back and forth.
Yeah, it was seriously back and forth the whole time. And I mean, at the end of regulation, I don't remember who had a chance to tie it. They missed.
Yeah.
Go into overtime.
I want to say, I think
you play a whole overtime, and then I think the Blue Jays had a chance to tie it at the end of the first overtime, and they miss again. It's the second overtime, and then Oregon just died. Like this is second overtime, so that's 5 minutes.
Yeah, I want to actually say, because funny story, I was actually at mom prom. I don't know if every school has that, but it's basically like where you go to like a
prom
dance
with mom.
You're going to get flamed. I am sorry.
No, it's actually common at like 90% of high schools, so it probably won't, unless we have an audience.
The fact you're going to get flamed.
Unless we don't have an audience of high schoolers, and plus this probably just won't be a clip, so I won't get flamed. But we're
making it a clip.
As I was saying, I was watching this game with a bunch of my friends at the time, and I specifically remember sitting there and I was like, dude, this overtime has been good. Like the entire game was good. The first like overtime was good. We go to the second overtime and I'm like, dude, Oregon just literally looked like they came out in the second overtime and was a completely different team.
It was so bad.
Their defense was awful. They could not make shots. Like it literally looked like a completely different team.
It looks like they got blown out looking at the score. It was a double overtime game. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, just crazy.
Yeah, this game, Oregon was kind of getting carried. Their team was getting carried by 2 players. And they were scored like 30 points each. One of them had 6 3-pointers. The other had 20 rebounds. But then if you look at Creighton, you see there's more of a split. Their players, like everybody was contributing more.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the minutes on these players is insane. Some of them had 50 minutes in this game.
That is insane. Like that is great, especially for college. That's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then you look here, no bench points for. Wait, what? Are you serious?
Yeah. Where? Oh, getting carried.
No bench. Wow, that is crazy.
By their 2 players.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Hey,
if 2 players are carrying your whole team for full game and one overtime, they'll do that for the second overtime.
Yeah, it's the whole thing with like when it's a team like, for example, this is kind of moving to something else, which we're probably not going to totally get into, but with Caitlin Clark, it felt like for the entire tournament. I'm not saying, okay, Iowa's an incredible team. It's not just Caitlin Clark. For sure. I want to give props to Iowa. They would not make it to the championship if it was just for Caitlin Clark. Although, I do feel like someone could argue that at least 87% of their team feels like a Caitlin Clark show.
Oh, my God, yes.
And with someone having to compete against,
like,
the best team in the nation in the championship, which they were definitely the best team in the nation in the championship, considering they were undefeated the entire season, Iowa basically having to be carried by one person to beat a team full of a bunch of people who maybe not single-handedly are good as Caitlin Clark, but a bunch of them who are close enough to Caitlin Clark where they could win that, because it felt like it was Caitlin Clark and a bunch of girls who play basketball versus a bunch of girls who are all like slightly below Caitlin Clark. It's like Caitlin Clark, the other team,
it's like
and then
Caitlin
her
Clark
team.
playing with college girls and playing against a bunch of WNBA players.
Correct. That's kind of what it felt like that entire game. So that was a good game, though. Incredible. It was close.
It was the
a lot
most
of the way.
watched women's championship game ever.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, I don't know if we'll have time. We're taking a long time here in this podcast talking about this, but honestly, a whole other topic is I feel like Caitlin Clark not single-handedly, I'm going to get hate for that.
Are you taking my idea?
Yeah, I am. But,
okay. This was my thing, by the way. I told this to him yesterday.
Yeah, he did. But I actually was talking with Liam with this even like a week ago about how he was saying he was watching an Iowa game, and he was talking to me like, dude, this is the first time in my entire life I ever turned on the TV to purposely watch a women's basketball game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean to like sound like that in a mean way, but like realistically for me, even as a basketball fan, I have never once in my entire life been like, yeah, I'm going to sit down and watch some girls basketball. Like, no, said no one ever, okay? Except now, that's different. I mean, Caitlin Clark made college basketball on the girls' side, like, a lot of more people care. And I feel like, honestly, that might even transition into the WNBA nowadays. You hear a lot more about it with the, Sabrina Carpenter versus Stephen Curry three-point contest. And, Caitlin Clark obviously now going to the NBA with Angel Reese on the opposing teams. I feel like the WNBA has LSU was tripping out. The WNBA and women's basketball as a whole, I think, is growing a lot throughout this March.
Yeah.
Let's get back to what we were talking about, though. Sorry, that was a little bit.
Something absolutely crazy, though.
Yeah.
The NCAA March Madness Championship had 14.8 million viewers. The women's NCAA Championship had 18.7 million viewers.
Actually,
the women's had more viewers than the men's?
By 4 million, yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
So I agree with what you guys are saying.
That's crazy.
As a whole.
Yeah.
Hashtag go women.
Yeah. As Matthew would say, go women. That's insane. I didn't even know that. Wow, that is crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is really just
good
showing.
For them.
That's the Caitlin Clark effect, baby. We coined it, the Caitlin Clark effect.
Hashtag the When in Doubt podcast.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark effect.
I was gonna say, why are we
paused? Like,
that?
I meant to say the whole thing, and I just stopped.
All right, let's get back to what we were talking about. Sorry.
I'll just keep going through this region here. So, two not even close games. Gonzaga beating Kansas. Purdue. Your word.
Absolutely destroying.
Utah State didn't stand a chance.
Yep.
Then you had Tennessee. Oh, yeah, Tennessee beating Texas, because that was the game we didn't remember.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Tennessee beat Creighton in a good game, and then Purdue beat Gonzaga in a not great game.
Yep.
And then Purdue ended up beating Tennessee.
So I will actually want to say one thing about the Purdue Gonzaga game. I was a little disappointed in Gonzaga that game because I felt like I watched some of their first couple rounds and I felt like they were playing really well. I actually picked them to be in the Elite Eight and they lost in the Sweet 16. I picked them to upset Purdue in one of my brackets. And I really felt like watching the first couple rounds, I was like, man, I think Gonzaga has a chance. I mean, like, of course, it's Zach Edey. Nothing's free at all. But I was like, if there's any team I feel like that can do it, like upset them early-ish, Sweet 16, I think it can be Gonzaga. And I watched the Gonzaga-Purdue game, and I was like, never mind. Never mind. Gonzaga fell apart. So
yeah.
I don't know if it's something just with Purdue this year. Obviously, they were extremely talented, made it to the national championship, but it kind of, to me, felt like Gonzaga fell off a little bit during that game. The skill level dropped from the other games, which I was a little disappointed in. So that kind of sucked for me bracket-wise. But still, obviously Purdue's good. Got to give it to them.
Absolutely. All right, now we're back in the South region. Yay. All right, another overtime thriller.
Yeah, that was a good game.
This game was really fun to watch. I mean, I was in the shower for this game when the Houston was up like 10. My dad comes up and he's like, Noah, you have to come watch this game. I'm like,
he's like pounding there. Get out of the shower. Come watch the game.
I may or may not have watched the buzzer beater in my underwear.
Wow. Hey, that's completely valid.
I was committed.
Yeah, committed.
But yeah, so if you didn't
Gavin's,
watch it,
Gavin's doing the podcast in underwear actually right now. Fun
Yep.
fact. So
he's like, it's not a video podcast, right? Because I'm naked.
no, he didn't say that, but something like that. All right, sorry, continue.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, he said that.
He was trying to cover for you, but he admitted it. Okay.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch it, Texas A&M hit a literal buzzer beater 3 to send it to overtime.
Crazy.
And Houston had I think 4 of their starters foul out, and they still won.
Yeah.
So good job to them. Didn't matter because they
that's where we actually talk about the bench depth instead of the starter, because a lot of the Houston players were fouling out there. And they had to pull to that bench. Oh, well, never mind. Take that back. Apparently, they didn't foul out. They might have been close, but they didn't because obviously the starters still carried. So take that back. But I thought I was going to, say the bench. But apparently, nobody plays off the bench in college. Nobody plays off the bench in college. All right, continue.
Oh, great game. This was close the entire time.
Yep.
This might have been this wasn't the biggest upset. But yeah, this was not a great game for James Madison after beating Wisconsin. Good job, Duke. All right, and then we're back to North Carolina State.
Gavin, what are you doing? I just hear Gavin take a big bite of a chip. Bro, stop eating chips. The phone is right by the mic, bro. Fun fact, we got hated down in the comments about you eating food during the podcast on a different episode. You straight muncher.
Hello?
Hello?
Bro?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my chips were too loud.
Yeah, we
No
know.
kidding.
No, shh.
This was the North Carolina State was carried by their DJs.
Yeah, literally.
DJ Burns and DJ Horn. I knew that.
Yeah, you did. Definitely.
Yep. So, yeah, this was a good game. This went into overtime. Oakland could not pull off the second upset, though. Unfortunate for them. But North Carolina State, did you see the domino effect of North Carolina State? Because they were losing by 3 in the ACC championship game with 5 seconds left, and Virginia had his second free throw. And the domino effect from Virginia missing 1 free throw at the last second of the game. North Carolina State goes down, hits a buzzer beater 3, force overtime. They win the ACC championship. They make the tournament. They win against Texas Tech. They win this game in overtime. They go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Because Virginia missed one free throw. That's crazy.
Literally 1 free throw, if you really think about it, was the path that got them to the Final Four.
Yeah,
insane.
It's seriously how they did it. So, shout out to them. How long do you think until somebody responds to one of our shout outs?
Imagine. We're shout out Drake, and then Drake's in the comments. That'd be so funny.
Why did you say Drake?
That'd be so funny.
I honestly don't remember much about the Marquette-Colorado game other than thinking they were going to lose, and they didn't. So
that's good for Marquette.
Good job for Marquette.
Especially
didn't
after
matter.
especially after that pretty unfortunate Wisconsin loss. I was cheering for Marquette pretty hard, even though I'm not much of a Marquette fan, even though I'm from Wisconsin. Definitely more of a Badger fan myself. But I know a lot of friends who are Marquette fans, so of course I'm cheering for them.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously they could not get it done.
Yeah, this game I want to point out the 3-point percentage. 4 for 31.
4 for 31.
You do not need to even understand basketball to realize how horrid 4 3-point shots out of that means they missed 27 3-point shots. That is crazy.
We're gonna have a YouTube short soon, or in an Instagram reel and a TikTok. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna shoot 31 3-pointers. We're gonna see how many I'm gonna make. I bet you I'm gonna make more than 4. No, I'm kidding. That's a bad example though. Considering
every single one,
defense.
You're gonna have to have a 7-foot guy.
Yeah, 7-foot guy to block you. Yeah, that's
see
fair.
how many you make then.
That's a really good point. But at the same time, no matter what in college basketball, if you're shooting 31 threes and only making 4,
you're not winning at all.
You're not winning that
You're
game.
guaranteed. I don't think there's a single point in the North Carolina State Marquette game where I thought Marquette was going to win. I mean, I feel like a lot of the other games, there were times where I thought they weren't going to win, but at the end it was oh, they might.
Yeah.
This game, the very beginning, no chance.
Yep.
Then you have Houston and...
Fun fact.
Yep.
I was trying to talk. Oh, okay, so you guys were talking about NC State a little bit ago. I was trying to pipe in, but I forgot I muted myself to eat my chips.
Bro.
I was like, can they just are they just ignoring me right now? Do they want me to talk about NC State? But
You're struggling.
NC State, yeah. So that 1 free throw, not only did they make that free throws with the reason they made it to finals, they had to win 9 straight elimination games.
Yeah, they won 9 straight.
March Madness.
They were the lowest seeded team in their conference tournament to win. They were the 10 seed.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
and
that.
then they went on that absolute tear, got that free throw shot, and then that, like you said, the domino effect.
Yeah.
They went through, beat Texas Tech, beat Oakland, beat Marquette, beat Duke, and made it to the Final Four for the 4th time in their in NC State's history.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Yep, that is.
And call back to the last episode, Duke, North Carolina State,
Yeah.
Simpsons.
Dude, that
was
insane.
a good episode. We robbed a bank. Go check it out.
Yeah,
I saw some haters on that video saying, and I don't know if I believe, like, go side with the haters on this one. They're like, wow, two NCAA teams played each other in the finals 9 years later. That's crazy.
Bro,
Dude,
it's crazier than you realize.
Yeah, it's also like
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the haters. Like, what are the odds that, like, any team plays? Like, I get that it could happen eventually, but it's in the tournament where there's 64 teams, and if you win every game, you play 6 teams.
And also think about it this way: if that guy missed that, or if that guy would have made that free throw, and NC State wouldn't even made the tournament, this wouldn't even been possible that NC State could have played Duke. Like the chances that NC State, which is a team that is not very known for being a really talented men's basketball school, the chances that they're
not
playing,
one of the first ones you think of.
Yeah, they're not one of the first ones you think of for sure. The chances that they're playing Duke, which is one of the premier top teams in March Madness, is so incredibly low. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not gonna take the time to do the math on like actually statistics behind that. I'm sure I can look it up.
It's low.
It is. I would guess it is easily below 3%, 2% at least. I mean, that is how low that is.
I would say lower.
Yeah, it's
but
people being
just
people
crazy.
trying to say that it's not crazy when you literally only 64 teams make it in the first place, and there are literally hundreds of colleges that don't make it every year.
Colleges, and the first 2 days, 32 teams don't make it.
And what are the chances that they're even in the position on the bracket where they can
basically,
even
if you're
play?
trying to, they have to be in the correct spot, and then both teams have to win if they don't already play against each other. So already that's 50-50 and 50-50.
And also, put it this way, what were even the chances that NC State was going to make it to this point in the tournament to even have a chance to play Duke? That they're so low already. So you got to count that in too because they're an 11th seed.
We're in a simulation. Okay, so Duke beat Houston, and that was kind of embarrassing for Houston, scoring 100 and then coming to play Duke and scoring 51.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude,
look at that score change.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Goes from 100 to 95 to 51 to 54.
Yeah.
What is going on?
I mean, the defense was obviously better in this game, but
Yeah.
it was just, I mean, it looks like it was a close game. It was.
It was.
But Duke had this game for a while.
Yeah.
Into the game. Then obviously North Carolina State beat Duke. So that was
crazy.
That was
Once
an
again.
amazing game. All right, back to the East region.
Where UConn destroyed.
Wait, I have to say it. Where UConn
destroyed. Absolutely dominated.
they did, yeah. I mean, I don't think
I saw
every single game they won by more than 15.
Yeah, I saw
14?
a stat. I saw a stat on after they won the national championship that this was the highest point differential ever.
Plus
on
140.
plus 140 point differential for the winning team.
That is crazy.
I mean, that is ridiculous. And the team in second was like
129.
Was like 129. I mean, like that's insane, man. That's a big difference.
Yeah,
and especially with that is a huge difference. And UConn it was an utter obliteration for UConn the entire tournament.
Yeah. Then San Diego State won, leading to a championship rematch from last year. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Yale won their first game. They got
destroyed
by San Diego State.
Yep.
Duquesne could not keep the momentum going against Illinois. And Iowa State beat Washington State in it wasn't a blowout as much as I thought, but then... Yeah, so now we're into the Sweet 16. Obviously, UConn destroyed San Diego.
Yeah.
And then Illinois and Iowa State, that was a close one. I actually didn't watch this. Unfortunately, I was away at work, I think. But, yeah, this was a good one. I picked Illinois to win, so that was really fun.
Yeah, I actually picked Illinois to win, too, that one. So that was a good one for me.
Yep, and then UConn destroyed Illinois, going on a 30-4 or 30-0 run.
30-0 run.
30 points in a row to start the second half.
That was the first time ever in college history that a team went on a 30 or over run to 0 ever.
They didn't even. The worst possible case for Illinois would have been, they would have had to make 10 possessions and make 3-pointers in 10 possessions. So even if they made 3-pointers on every possession, which they didn't, you'd have to not score and get scored on 10 possessions in a row. It's probably more like 15, 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least.
It's just crazy and honestly embarrassing for Illinois. That was an awful, awful way to start the second half, and it showed, and they lost by 25. Jeez. Final region, North Carolina State. Is this? No, North Carolina. Sorry, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
My bad.
Yeah,
my
you're
bad.
good. You're good.
Beating Tom Izzo and Michigan State. Michigan State is always a favorite. You know when they're coming in the tournament. You know that they have a chance. They're the team that beat Marquette last year.
Yeah, I picked Michigan State to win the first round.
Yeah.
Actually, some of my friends told me that was a bad pick, and I said no, they're not. It's Michigan State. They're winning, and they won, and then they lost to North Carolina, which I also picked. So there you go.
Then we have Alabama. Oh my God.
Alabama.
Alabama beat Grand Canyon, and we are to Clemson now. Clemson is one of my teams this year.
Oh, this one killed me, man. I was
What?
in the
Oh.
on our bracket that we made with the When in Doubt group. I had Arizona winning it all, and I was in the lead by like a decent amount too. Up to this point,
10 points.
no,
Yes.
it was okay. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it wasn't a decent amount, but I was winning.
You were winning.
I was in
not
first.
by a decent amount.
Okay, maybe I'm going crazy, but I was winning.
It was
and
close the whole time.
It was close, I guess, but I was winning, and I was like, dude, if Arizona can just clutch up for me, man, I'm winning it this year. And then the exact opposite.
This was one of my best picks ever. I'll get to it in a second. So obviously Clemson beat Baylor, then they beat Arizona. That was crazy. And then Alabama upset North Carolina, only winning by 2. So then you have an Elite 8 of a 4 and a 6 seed. This was one of my greatest picks. Possibly my greatest matchup pick ever. I picked Alabama to play Clemson in the Elite
That's
8.
impressive.
I mean,
That's
it is
so impressive.
so lucky.
So
But
lucky.
honestly, but yeah, that is easily one of my. And I picked Alabama to win. So, I mean, it's just crazy. It just kind of shows how much luck is involved too.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
as much
2
as people,
points
as
is-
much as people can say like, oh, all these like, pro bracket pickers, these people who like, who like to put
Every
so
year
much
who
into
wins,
it,
it's
I'm
somebody
like,
who doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's always somebody who's normally what happens is it's always a fan of a school that's an underdog that does really well, and that's the team that like gets it.
It's like, I went to St. Peter's. I'll
Yeah.
pick them to go to the Elite 8.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So
All right, so we are in the Final Four. This was one of the worst Final Fours I remember to date, honestly. These games weren't even close. I mean, UConn,
absolutely destroyed.
Alabama,
Yep.
Purdue,
Absolutely destroyed NC State.
North Carolina State.
Which I'm gonna be honest. What's funny is I'm thinking like, okay, DJ Burns is like, dude, he was he's such a big deal throughout the tournament, playing so well, kind of really carrying, not totally carrying, but being one of the big reasons NC State was doing so well. And I'm like, how's he going to match up against Zach Edey? Well, we got our answer.
Didn't.
He didn't match up against Zach Edey. And honestly, I could have told you that. I picked Purdue in that one pretty handily over NC State. And that's exactly what happened because I was like, as much as DJ Burns has been absolutely destroying all these other teams and, crushing hopes and dreams of teams that are way higher seeds, it really felt like Purdue and Zach Edey was his matchup that was not going to work out because Zach Edey kind of felt like he could do everything DJ Burns could do, except he's taller and he can make more shots.
Yeah.
And you can't really play bully ball against a guy who's twice your size. Like, at least height-wise, you know what I mean? DJ Burns got him by like 350 pounds. But, I'm kidding. DJ Burns got him by a hefty amount of pounds. But when you're that tall, you can't.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then obviously UConn won the whole thing 75-60 against Purdue. It was, I think, the 8th time number 1 seeds have played against each other, which also just goes to show you how random this tournament is. That the top teams don't always make it. So it's just so much fun to watch, honestly, March Madness, because there's so many upsets and everything. But, yep, number 1 team in the nation played the number 2 team. Obviously, they ranked number 1, but let's go. It's still recording.
Yeah, I was just want to make sure we've had technical issues recently, so I just want to make sure everything's still good.
But yeah, ending with an awful Final Four for fans. Obviously, a great Final Four for UConn.
UConn, yeah, it was
To
incredible.
watch
tournament
these
for UConn.
games was very, very boring.
Gavin, do you think next year, considering that I'm very likely, well, I am coming to college with you, do you think I'm going to be able to convince you to really get into March Madness? Maybe make a like a really, good bracket again.
Bracket. I'm into March Madness.
All right, you beat my bracket once again. I would argue probably second most out of the 6 people who don't watch March Madness.
Just UConn as a whole. UConn, like, as we all know, dominated the tournament. Like,
Yep.
nobody stood a chance. But a few stats that I found. UConn led by an average of 40 to 23 at halftime for every game. Like, that's
Oh my
an
God.
17-point lead every game.
40 to 23 average is insane.
That's crazy.
Yes. After 4 games, after 4 games into the event, they were almost guaranteed to win.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, normally when you're picking, like if you went on, like, I don't know, like a betting program when the Final Four started, and you picked a team to win it all, like that they have to win the they have to win the Final Four game and the championship, almost always the odds are going to be, like, plus something. And I bet you with the Huskies it was negative.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I would bet money, sports bet,
the Huskies
money,
were guaranteed
on the
to-
sports bet that it
guaranteed
was
to win.
negative. Like,
Yeah.
they were just so dominant the
Purdue
entire time.
didn't have a lead in the second half at all.
That's crazy.
No, they were down by 6 and lost.
That's also just, what you were saying,
half
Gavin, about that is, I think props to UConn because I also saw, I think those were the first time that the number one overall team won since, I want to say 2013.
It's been a
I wanted you to say 2013 or 2016, but it's been a long time since the number one overall in March Madness won. And to do it in such a dominant fashion that UConn did, I mean, the fact that they literally obliterated everybody that they played.
And we haven't
truthfully-
even mentioned they won back-to-back years, too.
Yeah, and
They
they're
won
back-to-back
last year.
champions. And last year they were definitely not the favorites. They were a 4 seed.
Yeah.
And this year they were obviously the favorites.
Last
And,
year was the craziest Final Four I've ever seen.
yeah, that was a crazy Final Four. But to be able to do it 2 years in a row, not only, and to do it as such a dominant force when everybody has that target on your back because you are that number one overall, it's really impressive because there's not a lot of teams, even if you are the number one overall, to be able to get through March Madness and how hard of a tournament that is on a coach and team.
Yeah.
All right, well, with that, I thought we were going to get into NBA today, but we're going to have to save that for the next episode, considering 45
Before we,
minutes in.
end,
Yeah.
let's talk about brackets as a whole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can
Just
pull up
just
the...
a few quick stats I have. Making a bracket, I don't know. This is something I should have known, but I didn't. There's never been a perfect March Madness bracket created. Never.
You didn't know that?
Really? No way!
Yeah, I know. I should have known that. The odds of someone, if you were to, like, say flip a coin next year and flip a coin or just randomly guess every game, the odds of you getting it right are 1 in 9.2 quintillion.
That is...
Like,
Sorry, I'm laughing because I literally told that number to Hayden before you said it because it's like, it's known, but...
oh, okay, yeah.
I love that you're like, guys, there's never been a perfect bracket.
Well, no, the closest anyone's ever gotten, like, nobody's even gotten even close. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to actually
crazy.
show my other bracket
if
because
someone was to
it's
create a perfect
crazy.
bracket,
It
they're
seriously
winning millions
is.
of dollars. Like, there's so much money on the line for a perfect bracket,
Yeah.
it would be insane.
I know.
And
It's...
I was almost there.
And you know my brother said I was almost there.
Where did it go?
Are you going to pick it next year, Gavin? You getting the perfect bracket next year?
I had the perfect bracket this year, but I accidentally misclicked my last pick.
Got it.
Okay.
I had everything right except I accidentally put Purdue to win.
Let's quickly highlight the percent. Let's quickly highlight the percent, which is only 83.
Well, Silent, yours 43.
Okay, yeah, true, but...
No, I'm kidding. I only got like 60% right.
Yeah.
I think, was this the one I had? Oh, I changed my bracket because I had, I'm not blaming my dad, but my dad, like, talked to me about stats, and I ended up changing my bracket a little bit. I had Alabama in this one, too. So, unfortunate, but
It happens. It
a
happens.
reasonable win for Gavin.
I'll just like pick a team based on mascots because that seems to work for a lot of people.
It does work for a lot of people.
That's fair.
It
It didn't work out for my mom because she picked the Longwood Horses to win. So,
Yeah, that's
and
the
let's
challenge.
note that Jack's like, yeah, I'll join your bracket.
But he didn't even make it.
He didn't even fill it out.
Yeah. But he could have auto-filled it, and he didn't even fill it. It's
That's
all right.
true.
Though. All right, well, we got to wrap this Johnson up. This is a long episode. It's a good one,
Oh,
though.
don't show him the password.
Oh.
Oh, it's fine.
It
It's
doesn't
over.
matter. It's
we'll
over.
make it new one. Don't join it.
This is a long episode, but it's a good one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed kind of the new vibe. I don't think this will happen often, really, only if we ever have 2 people again. But thank you so much for watching episode 18 of the When in Doubt podcast. Gavin, give us the outro.
Thank you guys for watching today. We love you all. We'll see you next time.
Yeah! Like and follow, and subscribe.